I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars franchise seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also let's not forget about the fact that they are also developing new Star Wars TV shows, both in live action and animated form, as well as the fourth Star Wars trilogy of films by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that they are currently trying their absolute best to really evolve the franchise in order to make it just as big as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which, by the way, is going to take a lot of time and effort, and it's going to take a lot of work in order to really get that done, as well as really getting a high success rate. Let's not forget about that, is that you can't have a lot of failures in a row. You have to have a lot of success when it comes to this new expanded universe. Now, with that being said, of course, we do know that George, John, and Dave are all working together to deliver authentic Star Wars stories to the Star Wars fandom to enjoy around the world. Given that a great divide was created among the Star Wars community back in 2017 with the release of The Last Jedi by director Rian Johnson, now you can see exactly what they're trying to repair. They really want to bring Star Wars back to the way it used to be in, of course, 2012, well before the release of The Force Awakens, and even well before the sequel trilogy even started. Now, here's the thing, is that we do know that Bob Iger and Bob Chapek, the two Disney CEOs, are really pushing the idea in order to borrow a lot of content from Star Wars Legends, and to also rework or reset/restart certain aspects of the sequel trilogy to make it more acceptable. Now, with that being stated, of course, what's really intriguing is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are currently focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as their new Star Wars universe, that will deliver a brand new mythology to Star Wars fans around the world. It's explained that currently behind the scenes, major changes are being made to the Star Wars franchise by Disney CEO Bob Chapek by hiring new creators and placing regulations on how to handle the brand moving forward. It's explained that Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and George Lucas are all creating a major retcon for the character of Rey Skywalker that will be applied in the new Star Wars universe and stories to arrive in the near future. It's described that the major retcon is set to establish that Rey holds the power of not just Ben Solo at the end of the film, but of all the Skywalkers, including Luke, Anakin, and Leia, within her own body after being revived by Ben Solo. It's described that the retcon is set to establish that the other Skywalkers were helping Ben Solo perform the Force healing technique to bring Rey back to life after her attack on Palpatine, and that the Force Ghost played a major role in Rey getting revived. However, Ben Solo was the one to take the strain since he was taking in the power of the netherworld of the Force, where just as he vanishes, he becomes one with Rey, making her a Skywalker at the very end of the film. Not just that, but also George, John, and Dave are set to simplify the concept of Rey's parents, and that her father was a legitimate son of Palpatine, and not just some clone through gene splicing, as stated in the novelization. So here's the thing about everything related to the character of Rey, is that this is a very interesting explanation as to exactly how Ben Solo learned this ability so fast of the Force healing technique, is that it was the Force Ghosts of Anakin, Luke, and Leia guiding him to doing this properly, to bring Rey back to life, and that the Skywalkers, all of which become a part of Rey in the new Disney canon that will be applied next year in 2021. So this is going to be a very interesting take on Star Wars, and it really does give you a different view of The Rise of Skywalker and what Lucasfilm aims to do with changing the character of Rey. I also do respect them by simplifying the concept of Rey's father. Rey's father was a very confusing mess, I believe, at least, in The Rise of Skywalker. Not only did they not explain exactly how in the world he was Palpatine's son in the movie, it was only the novelization that stated that he is the son through gene splicing by him being a clone in a sense. So he's not an actual clone in the novel, and he's not an actual son, I should say, in the novel, but he's actually a son through gene splicing through making him a clone. And they want to actually make it a legitimate son, like as if Palpatine had a son with somebody that he knew, you know, be it anybody. It could be anybody. It can be a new character, it can be an old character that we're already aware of in the current canon. So the other thing that's very important that I think a lot of Star Wars fans are very curious about is, of course, is this going to make it very confusing for a lot of casual fans out there? Again, you got the novelization, you've got these new retcons on the horizon by George, John, and Dave. Is this really the right decision to go through? Or is it just best to leave things alone and just let it be, right? Let me know what you guys think about all that below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.